Hey guys, it's Jack from Cyclestation here with the Trust Performance message fork that we've been given the pleasure of testing over the last couple of weeks. This fork features a full carbon fibre chassis, 3-position lockout and full seal bearings with lifetime warranty. These seal bearings allow the fork to move much more like your rear suspension, giving you much better corner stability and high-speed traction. The fork comes in at just under 2 kilograms and retails for $3,300. So we'll go chuck it on the bike and see how it rides.
Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again, state your name, big been dope on flame, I just switched the lanes, damn he did it again, I just flipped the pain, stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got body tossed that I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming, coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB who we running with,
Welcome to the Cyclestation Trust Message Fork Review. We've got Jack, Gary and myself Sam here doing a small review on it. First of all boys, do you want to just describe the bike that you rode and what sort of trails you did?
I rode the fork on a 150 travel Trek Remedy and a 130mm travel Rocky Mountain Thunderbolt.
I also rode it on a Rocky Mountain Thunderbolt with the 130 travel, just up at Hunchback Hill on some flatter stuff, still with some decently big hits and steps and stuff like that, but yeah, it was good.
And I rode it on a Rocky Mountain Instinct BC, which is a long travel 29er, so 160mm travel in the front normally and 155 in the back. I rode it on a few different trails, so I did some flow trails, some cross country, and then some more enduro stuff with the quite rocky, a few drops and yeah, some cornering and stuff like that. I really liked the cornering with the forks, not having any of the brake dive. I really liked when I was descending through some really loose rocky parts that the wheel just stays exactly where you want it to go. You don't sort of get it sort of skipping across anything or bouncing around. And I really liked when climbing, just when you're coming up to obstacles, it was just nice and easy to sort of just plough through things. You didn't sort of need to pop the wheel too much.
So what I really liked about the fork was the climbing again. It is super tracking. Going up fire roads, steep fire roads, you can just get over the front. It doesn't pump around, you don't need to lock it out or anything. It's also super precise over jumps and things like that, so you don't need to accommodate for the suspension rebounding. You can just focus on your jump technique, which means that you just get the same jump basically every time, which is really good.
First thing I noticed is just on flat turns, how quickly the fork changes direction, it doesn't bob up and down, so you can turn quite sharp, quite swift. And when you take a big hit with the fork, it doesn't kind of compress like a normal fork, so you actually come into control a lot quicker, or it's a lot easier to stay in control and then kind of enter the next obstacle. So if you're taking real rough stuff into a corner, you actually have a lot better control in the corner than you would on a normal fork, because you're not getting sent forward and thrown around a bit.
Certainly on steeper turns with a bit more rock and stuff in them, like on a couplet on Rock and Roller, you could, because the fork's not diving under braking, you're staying in that top bit of travel, which means the fork isn't ramping up quite yet, so you've still got a bit of, I guess, supple travel to it, so it really stays in control through those types of things, which is good.
So on the trails where it was a little bit steep and rocky, I really quite liked it. I felt I could just point the wheel in my line choice, and if it was a little bit loose, I felt the wheel just kind of absorbed those hits and kept me pretty steady on line. I wasn't bouncing all over the trail and getting off my line choice. Yeah. So I really quite like that.
Yeah, I guess when you hit something head on going down the hill, that's actually pushing the linkage where it wants to go. It's not fighting it, coming down kind of thing.
Yeah, you're sort of pogoing off the trail a little bit or off your line choice. I thought it was really quite good. You could feel it in your hands with a little bit of feedback, but the wheel just stayed exactly where I wanted it to go. Yeah. Coming
down the hill, as Sam said, you can really just, doesn't matter where you go, you just stick to a line and you can just plow through it, just because the fork is moving in the direction that it wants to go, not up and down like a regular fork would. So you just stick to one line, you just glued to the ground basically, which is good.
One of the more noticeable features on the fork was With the rebound, I feel like it's a lot more predictable of steeper drops. Your fork kind of returns not like slower, but it's like more predictable. So when you come up to your next obstacle, you have a fair bit more control.
Yeah, so I found, like Gary said, with that predictability, it really makes you change how you ride basically. I found over some jumps, especially to a more flat landing, you would nose in the fork so it could really do its best to absorb the impact a lot better. And then especially coming off the takeoff as well, you're not having to adapt to the rebound of coming off a regular telescoping fork. You can really just focus on your technique because you're not getting kicked up. So I found I wasn't landing on my back wheel a lot more. I was really in control in the air, and it just felt super easy just to come back down and really recover from the jump, which was good.
Yeah, I took it down Shred Kelly at Bright, across the tabletops down the bottom. So there's some decent sized tabletops, and I thought it performed really well. I felt quite confident, I was clearing all of those nicely, and I didn't have any problems with it at all.
Yeah.
I found it hunchy even on some like little smaller lips that you would normally pop off quite hard on a regular fork. You didn't have the input of the fork's rebound coming in, so it was really good just to try and focus on your technique. You would try and land a little bit more nose heavy as well, just to get the fork to really absorb the impact as best as it can.
Felt pretty weird, like trying to hop over things. Kind of had to wait to hit the edge of something, then pop off it instead of like pre-hopping.
Yeah.
But then in that sort of situation, instead of hopping, I would adjust my riding style. So if there was, say, a jagged rock in the middle of the track that you would normally hop over with just a irregular fork, on this one you just plow straight through. It doesn't really matter. The bike doesn't lose its composure. It just keeps going on. You don't get knocked off line or anything. You can really just continue on the trail. So it's really good. It kind of gives you a bit more insurance. Say you miss your line, you just plow through a heap of rocks. You're not knocked off course or anything like that.
More point and shoot rather than a bit less playful but more forgiving in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
The one small issue I had with the fork was being able to transport my bike to the trail. So I've got a couple of different bike carriers. One that clamps on by the frame, which was all good. The other one I've got has the wheel clamp that goes sort of the arm over onto the front wheel. Unfortunately, the fork was a little bit too wide to be able to fit it on that one.
So that's our thoughts on the new truss fork. A few pros, a few cons. I guess if you want any more information, just come in and talk to us in store.
Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LA BB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3. I'm on 10 again.